Beyond Revenge, The Evolution of the Forgiveness Instinct by Michael McCullough is a fascinating, deeply researched exploration of two of humanity's most powerful emotional drives, revenge and forgiveness. From the outset, McCullough challenges the idea that revenge is merely a personal flaw or sign of irrational anger. Instead, he presents it as a biological adaptation that once served a vital purpose in early human societies. In a world without police, courts, or formal justice systems, retaliation functioned as a deterrent. It protected individuals from being exploited and communicated that harm would not be tolerated without consequence. However, just as revenge developed to preserve individual safety, forgiveness emerged to preserve social bonds. McCullough introduces the concept of the forgiveness instinct, a hardwired capacity in humans to repair broken trust and restore cooperation. In small tribal groups, forgiveness helped reduce ongoing conflict, sustain alliances, and encourage group survival. He uses examples from anthropology, evolutionary biology, and primatology to show that both revenge and forgiveness have deep evolutionary roots. The book's intellectual core is its application of game theory. Strategies like tit for tat, which combines retaliation with a readiness to forgive when the other side demonstrates remorse, are shown to be remarkably effective over time. These strategies create balance. They allow individuals to defend themselves without becoming perpetual aggressors and encourage peace without making them vulnerable to repeated harm. This blend of assertiveness and grace is presented not just as a personal strategy, but as a pattern embedded in our species. From there, McCullough delves into psychology and neuroscience. He explores how the human brain reacts differently when imagining revenge versus forgiveness. While thoughts of vengeance activate regions associated with reward and pleasure, deliberating forgiveness engages areas linked to empathy and emotional regulation. This contrast reveals how complex and biologically grounded our moral behavior really is. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's neurologically supported strength. Context is critical throughout the book. McCullough argues that our willingness to forgive often depends on whether we perceive the offender as still dangerous. If someone apologizes, shows regret, or if the relationship is important to us, forgiveness becomes more likely. If not, our protective instincts favor revenge. This insight makes clear that forgiveness isn't simply about being virtuous, it's a strategic social decision based on risk and trust. Cultural and religious traditions play a role in shaping these instincts. McCullough doesn't claim religion invented forgiveness, but he shows how rituals of apology, confession, and atonement help societies activate the forgiveness instinct at scale. Through repeated storytelling and sacred practices, communities create frameworks in which forgiveness becomes socially acceptable and even expected. Political and institutional structures matter just as much. McCullough turns his lens to justice systems, arguing that many are designed to punish, not reconcile. He advocates for models like restorative justice, which focus on truth-telling, accountability, and making amends. These systems, he argues, are more aligned with our evolutionary tendencies than purely retributive ones. They create the social and emotional conditions under which true forgiveness can occur. The author also looks beyond humans to other species. He describes how bonobos, chimpanzees, and even some birds and fish use rituals of reconciliation to maintain group harmony. These examples reinforce the idea that forgiveness is a natural part of conflict resolution, not a uniquely human or modern invention. It is a fundamental survival tool. To illustrate the real-world impact of these ideas, McCullough recounts powerful moments from recent history. One example is South Africa's post-apartheid Truth and Reconciliation Commission, where perpetrators of violence were invited to confess publicly and seek forgiveness from their victims. While imperfect, this process demonstrated how institutionalized forgiveness could offer a path forward for deeply wounded societies. Importantly, McCullough never suggests that forgiveness is always the right choice or that it should be forced. He acknowledges the pain, courage, and patience required to truly forgive, especially in the face of profound harm. Forgiveness, he insists, is not about excusing behavior, but about making a conscious decision to end cycles of revenge when the conditions are right. The conclusion of Beyond Revenge is as practical as it is philosophical. McCullough argues that we can design personal relationships, schools, workplaces, and governments that better support both justice and reconciliation. While revenge might feel instinctively satisfying in the short term, forgiveness leads to stronger, more stable communities. It reduces anxiety, mends emotional wounds, and prevents cycles of harm from continuing. Ultimately, McCullough's book offers a vision of humanity grounded in both realism and hope. Yes, we are wired for revenge, but we are also deeply capable of compassion, repair, and forgiveness. By understanding these instincts, we gain more control over them. We don't have to be ruled by our most primal reactions. We can learn when to fight and when to let go. And in that learning lies the key to building a more peaceful, resilient world.